Hey, how's everybody doing out there? This is Pastor Jimmy coming to you from Unfiltered Faith. And I'm going to start off by having a little intro music from a young artist that I've been working with for a while now by the name of Letitia Argentini. Oh, she's going to be really upset I'm messing up that name. But listen to this music. It really touches your heart. And this particular one, it's called Light Like This. Not on my thumb, strings hum. Yeah. Your name, simple truth, pulls me through. Jesus, light like that, steady when I'm flat. Jesus, hold my hand, lead me to dry land. Coffee cools, dawn breaks, quiet mercy wakes. Step by step, slow, you and I go. Jesus, light like that, steady when I'm flat. Jesus, hold my hand, lead me to dry land. Haven't you ever want to say that to him? Reach out to him and say, lead me to that dry land. When I lose the map you steer, when fear comes near, you're here. Jesus, lie like that, steady when I'm flat. Jesus, hold my hand, lead me to dry land. Oh, Jesus, lie like that, steady when I'm flat. Jesus, hold my hand, lead me to dry land. Wasn't that something? Wasn't that something? You know, this music that I've been sharing and will be sharing as we go forward here in other podcasts is from an artist that I've really come to respect. She's been able to pull these various songs together, and if you haven't guessed it yet, I slant a little bit to the contemporary Christian with a little bit of soul in it. So these songs sort of touched me from the time of my childhood when I used to listen to these some of these songs, but not these particular songs, but this style of singing when we were celebrating the Lord. So today the episode we're going to be talking about today is a little bit interesting for you. Going to be a little bit interesting. So we're going to be talking about what I think is one of the most important principles in releasing our faith. And without this particular principle, or this quality of work, should I say, in our lives, we will never know what it is to have our faith released effectively. Now, this quality is found in the book of Galatians, and it's called love. Faith works and operates by love. Now, from a humanity standpoint, love in a relationship is a deep blend of emotional bonding, care, trust, commitment. It's often incorporates a psychological intimacy, physical attraction. Love is not just a fleeting feeling, but truly is an active choice of behavior. Let me repeat that. An active choice of behavior. It's characterized by dedication, by having understanding, by having a continuous effort to nurture the relationship. Now, you're saying, Pastor Jimmy, what does that got to do with having unfiltered faith? Well, by the time this episode is over with, I am hoping, praying, that you'll see how love drives it all. Drives it all. Now, technically, I believe it's possible that you could have an intellectual belief or faith without love. You know, it's you read a lot, you do a lot of theological studies, or maybe you just read a lot of things, and you feel that you understand faith considerably, and you love. Maybe not, but you understand faith. Now, I would venture to say that that form of faith is empty, incomplete. Love is viewed by me as a necessary animating force to give your faith a purpose and substance. And making faith dead or worthless is when you remove love from it. In the Bible, faith is inseparable from love because faith is tied to God's love. In Him, faith and love are eternally connected. Galatians 5:6 emphasizes that faith is only effective when it expresses itself through love. When faith is expressed in love, it is effective, I believe, because it is unfiltered. Perfect love, rooted in faith, drives out fear. Lord, in these times that we're in right now, I know many of us are fearful. And love, rooted in your faith, drives out that fear. You know, and it's often considered that faith in the wrong things can cause you even more fear. You got to remember that. You see, because sometimes we can have this faith, but it's in something absolutely wrong. And what it produces is pain. So we need to think about love. So the Bible has considerable amount to say about love. And in fact, love is God, and God is love. You'll find that in 1 John 4, verses 7 through 8. Love is a fundamental characteristic of who God is. Everything God does is influenced by His love. Today we'll discuss the scriptural understanding of what love is. Now, let me first begin by sharing with you these God-breathed words from 1 Corinthians 13, 1 through 13. And it says here, if I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but I didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it. But if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or prideful or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith. It's always hopeful and endures through every circumstances. Prophecy and speaking in unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. Now, our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even in the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when the time of perfection comes, these partially things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror. But then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete. But then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. That particular 13 verses has had a great impact in my life, because every time I wondered how was I going to go on and continue to love all the stupid people that were going out of their way to seem to try to harm me, this set of scriptures sort of brought me back. You know, I would dare to say that 1 Corinthians 13 was one of the most popular scriptures used at weddings. I also believe in my heart that if those words were lived out in the marriage, there would be considerably less divorces. Make no mistake, the enemy hates successful marriages. While the enemy cannot take away your relationship with Jesus, he hates that you belong to Jesus and is constantly working hard to tarnish the glory of God in you. The enemy wants you to be ineffective, unfruitful, prideful, self-centered. He wants you to be such an impact on you that he will discourage you and from engaging with your spouse. This is why your personal focus has to be on growing in your relationship with Jesus, as I do. You'll be stronger against the enemy and more successful in your marriages. Okay. Now, I know some of you have just said, okay, here we go again. We got to have our marriage rooted in God. Yes, you do. If you're going to have unfiltered faith, then you have to have an unfiltered faith that God has brought the two of you together. And that unfiltered faith will allow you to love each other deeply. So unfiltered faith allows you to release and be yourself and know that your loved one loves you as you are. Now, we would have to say that where neither the husband nor the wife insists on their own way and are not resentful of each other, wow, wouldn't that make for a successful marriage? When you weren't trying to dole out who got what, who had the best favor, who did the most action, who does the most work, who does all of these other things. That's not love. That's not unfiltered faith in your loved one. That's a faith that you have sent through your own personal filters, where that person has to reach a certain point before you acknowledge the fact that they are the person you love. Because until they have all those marks ticked off, they're still just someone you're still trying to figure out whether you love them or not. Okay, yeah, you got married to them, but you still got to try to figure them out, see if you want to stay with them. Lord, that's a hard thing to take. Now, think about this. If your unfiltered love and your unfiltered faith occupying and working through you, think about this. That if you loved, and in loving you bore all things, and you believed all things, and hoped all things, and endured all things. If you have been blessed by God with a marriage like this, give thanks and praise to God, for you are experiencing love driven by unfiltered faith. Make no doubt about this, brothers and sisters. There is a spiritual warfare that's going on, meaning that you need to learn how to recognize the enemy. So when the snake slithers into your house, what if you immediately responded and had been to shout at your wife or your husband for leaving the door open? And then you stop and think, well, wait a minute. Why did I get upset about something like that? Usually don't, but that's the enemy picking at you. Your faith is being filtered the wrong way. It's being filtered through you instead of being unfiltered and coming to the other person from God. That's what you have to think about. So, throughout my 3 decades of ministry, 5 years of that as an ordained pastor, I have watched marriages fall apart when couples erroneously believed their spouse was their foe. Recognizing the real enemy, not recognizing, should I say, the real enemy is Satan, not your spouse, is a vital step to take in spiritual warfare. Now, in Ephesians, it says, "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of an unseen world, against mighty powers in the dark world, against evil spirits in heavenly places." Dr. Gary Chapman, through his long time working as a marriage counselor, stated and that we give and receive love in 5 different ways. We have words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. He called those love languages. All too often, family couples turn on each other when they dwell on how their spouse has not measured up to the expectations, and negative thinking sneaks in to undermine their marriage. Instead, couples need to stand together against their real enemy, Satan. Now, unfiltered faith allows you to draw on your faith that God is there, to draw on your faith that somehow it's going to work out. You see, when you have an unfiltered faith in God, that allows you to start developing an unfiltered faith in the person that you have married. An unfiltered faith that allows you not to hesitate in saying, "Honey, thank you. I really love what you did." Because they need to know that no matter what, you love them. Everyone needs to understand love. Now, to borrow from a pastor friend of mine, he says this. He says, "Faith will make an opening wherever it needs to, and sometimes you must walk off of some borrowed faith until yours is stronger." What does he mean? What did he mean by that? Well, see, one of the things that I have discovered in my walk is that the closer you get to God, God starts working through you. You find yourself sometimes in places and in front of people that you never, ever thought you would be there. You find yourself sometimes, happened recently. I think, what was it? Probably about 4 or 5 months ago. My brothers and I were, not my faith brothers and I, were sitting at a Starbucks, and we're sitting in there and we're talking. And we're giving glory, and we're talking about all the wonderful things that our unfiltered faith has allowed us to walk through in our lives. And then all of a sudden, I look up, and all the people that were surrounding us had turned and was listening to how we were talking. And in fact, there was a young lady who had come in. They were, her and her family, I saw them when they came in. Her and her family were coming in to get, I guess, some drinks of some type. So she left her family sitting up there putting in the orders, and she came over and she sat down behind us and listened. Now, I can't remember what we were talking about, but whatever we were talking about, it must have been something that she needed to hear. Because I looked, and her husband kept waving at her, come on over, come over. She kept going, wait a minute. And then we finished, our group finished talking, and then she got up and she walked over and said something to her husband, and he smiled, and then they walked out with the kids. You never know when the Lord's going to use you. And so you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware, and that's why he says, faith will make an opening wherever it needs to. And it's sometimes you must walk off of some borrowed faith until yours is stronger. Have you ever said this to a close friend, and said it not just to say it, but said it because you meant it? And that is, I'll be here for you. Don't worry. I'm going to walk with you as you go through this. And then all of a sudden you were trying to figure why that came out of your mouth. And that's because what you were doing was making available for them some borrowed faith to walk off of until theirs got stronger. So remember that. You have to be willing, when you are walking in unfiltered faith in the Lord, that sometimes the Lord is going to have you around someone that's going to need to borrow a little bit of your faith so that theirs can get stronger. And that's okay, because the more they borrow, the more God gives back into you. So you don't lose anything in that bargain. So don't think that happens. You don't lose anything. What you have done, though, have become an instrument for God to help other people. Unfiltered faith. It gives you the ability to walk in a valley and know that you're going to get through it. Unfiltered faith will allow you, in the loss of a loved one, to know in time, because it's going to hurt, but in time you're going to come to understand, because you have such an unfiltered faith in God, that that loved one is okay, that they're with them, that they no longer have pain, and you're happy for them now. It'll still hurt, you'll still remember them, but every time it hurts, with your unfiltered faith, you can say, I know they're going to be okay, because they're with the Father now, and they don't hurt anymore, and I'm happy for them. Now, unfiltered faith also was something that Apostle Paul used as a controlling principle of life, and that is the fact that it is love working through your unfiltered faith that brings about the fullness, the essence of what Christianity is. Personal relationship to Jesus Christ, which is characterized by faith and love. Now, we're going to be talking in episode 3 that's going to be coming up. This is how it's going to go so as we go forward here a little bit. Episode 1, of course, just got released. And episode 2 is going to be released on the Friday after episode 1 is released on Thursday. And then every Friday from there on, we're going to have a new episode being released. I've already lined up some guests that'll be coming in episode 4 and episode 5, and we're going to be talking about things. And if you have anything you think you want us to talk about, then hey, come on and see us. Come on and talk to us. Send me an email. You'll see the information and stuff that's there at the website, unfilteredfaith.faith. That's the website's thing. You know what I mean. But that's our sometimes it comes out easy, sometimes it doesn't. But you know what? You got to be able to laugh at yourself. That's that's another good thing about Unfiltered Faith, because you realize, okay, I'm not perfect. But the address for us, not the email address, but the address, internet address for us is havingunfilteredfaith.faith. And when you get to there, you'll be able to leave me a message in there and give us some things you'd like to talk about. Like I said, we're always going to want to talk about something, as long as those things that you want to talk about are something that's dealing with faith, or maybe where you are right now. Let us know. But we're talking about being it in a respectful fashion. We're not here to make enemies. We're here to share our unfiltered faith with you. Now, in episode 3, we're going to conclude our discussion. And what has love got to do with it anyway? And what we're going to discuss in episode 3 is what love isn't. And it's good. And that's an important subject as well, because we know what love is, but also we need to know what love is not, because sometimes Satan will put things in front of you that masquerade as being love, but they're not love. Brothers and sisters, it's been a wonderful time talking to you. I'm going to have a little closing song as we go out from this wonderful lady again. Now, this song is also one that I've come to really think a lot about, and it's one that it's called Alive in Grace. Alive in Grace.
I used to count my worth by what my hands could do, chasing rules like echoes, thinking they'd pull me through. Then I learned a different story, one that calls my name. Crucified with Jesus, and nothing stays the same. It's not my strength that's driving me, it's a love that won't erase. I wake each morning softer, living now alive in grace. Oh, Jesus, I'm alive in grace. You're living inside of me, no longer bound by old mistakes. You set my spirit free. Jesus, I'm alive in grace. I walk by faith each day. The life I breathe is yours. Lord, you gave yourself away.
Unfiltered Faith.
There were laws I kept like fences, thinking they'd protect. But mercy broke those barriers, taught me to reflect. If right were by keeping, then mercy would be vain. So I rest beneath your promise, and I leave behind the strain. You love me first, shelter, living now alive in grace. Jesus, I'm alive in grace. You're living inside of me, no longer bound by old mistakes. You set my spirit free, spirit free. Jesus, I'm alive in grace. No more trying to be perfect, no more bargaining my soul. Just a quiet, steady confidence in the mercy that makes me whole. Not my law, but your love. That truth I will embrace. I lay the old me down and found I'm alive in grace. Jesus, I'm alive in Jesus. I'm alive in grace. You're living inside of me, no longer bound by old mistakes. You set my spirit free. Jesus, I'm alive in grace. I walk by faith each day. The life I breathe is yours. Lord, you gave yourself away. Jesus, I'm alive in grace. You're living inside of me, no longer bound by old mistakes. You set my spirit free. Jesus, I'm alive in grace. I walk by faith each day. The life I breathe is yours. Lord, you gave yourself away. Ooh, crucified with Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, now we live.
until our next time together,
I live
remember,
by faith in his name.
having unfiltered faith
Grace.
will open up a love with God and a love for your family and your friends and a love that will carry you when everything else seems like it's working against you. Bye. Talk to you later.